Kerala love jihad case has been adjourned till the 30th of October. This comes after the CJI made it clear that during that next hearing, the CJI will only hear State of Kerala versus Hadiya's father and not the NIA terror angle. Earlier, the National Investigating Agency had told the court that young girls have been indoctrinated. That's the latest that we are tracking for you. Meenakshi Bhanja joining us for more information. Meenakshi, the crucial point here being that the CJI is making it clear that it is only going to hear Hadiya's father's case versus State of Kerala and not the NIA terror angle. Now, what does this mean?
Well, Afrida, this was a very surcharged hearing and it came in for a lot of twists and turns. And interestingly, it was NIA counsel ASG Maninder Singh and Shafeen Jahan's counsel Dushyant Dave who got into a major war of words before the three-judge bench. And it was then that the Honorable Chief Justice of India had to intervene and pull both sides up. And he categorically made this observation that the three-judge bench currently was seized of the matter to examine a couple of constitutional points. Number one would be whether the Kerala High Court indeed had the jurisdiction or did it exceed its jurisdiction as it went ahead and annulled the marriage of Hadiya with Shafeen. And the other aspect which the Honorable Chief Justice of India feels Shafeen. And the other aspect which the Honorable Chief Justice of India feels merits consideration is whether a parent of a grown child, a major child of a parent, can be given custody. The father can be given custody of a grown child, a major, against her wishes in this way. Of course, the NIA counsel wanted to bring in more aspects to the entire debate, to broaden it, to include the terror angle. But for now, a message from the Supreme Court very clear. The top court of this country is limiting the Hadiya conversion case to two aspects only. Number one, whether the Kerala High Court exceeded its jurisdiction to annul the marriage of Hadiya/Akila, and secondly, whether a parent of a grown child can be given custody of the child in the manner Hadiya has been given custody to her father.
Right.
These
so
are the two limited aspects that the Apex Court is looking at for now, categorically stating that it will only hear the State of Kerala's arguments and Hadiya/Akila's father's arguments. Back to you.
Yes, so that's a lot of clarity that you're giving us. But again, the question remains here that the parents of the child is bringing out this narrative. It's not us, but it is the parent of the so-called victim who says that there is a larger agenda. Girls are being lured into love affairs, and then after that, of course, they are being forced into religious conversion, following which they fall prey into a jihadist agenda. Now, the courts are, of course, saying that that entire purview will remain outside the court's proceedings at the moment. Meenakshi?
Well, you know, Afrida, that's interesting because remember, so far in this entire controversy and debate, the particular girl, Hadiya/Akila, who is currently residing with her father, has not been examined by the Apex Court. As a matter of fact, as the matter progresses going forward, 30th October onwards, there is going to be a determined pitch by Shafeen Jahan's counsel, Dushyant Dave, who will want Akila/Hadiya to be produced before the Supreme Court, who will want Hadiya's version to be recorded by the three-judge bench, even if they do so in chambers. So that is a very crucial aspect that has not happened thus far. And only subsequent to that, the matter progresses to the next logical level. But for now, NIA's arguments of such girls being hypnotized, which was submitted today in the Apex Court, also has not found favor. The top court of this country, headed by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, limiting himself to two crucial aspects. One, if the Kerala High Court exceeded its jurisdiction to annul the marriage of this girl, and secondly, if a major 24-year-old can be given custody, the father can be given custody of a major 24-year-old girl in the manner Hadiya/Akila has been placed in her father's custody.
Yes, so the court will adjudicate on these two issues, like you clarified, but I'm told, Meenakshi, that Maninder Singh, counsel for the NIA, has insisted that there are provisions in the law which does extend to suggest that the parents can have certain authority over an overgrown child as well?
Well, indeed, Afrida, that did come up for consideration, and like we have been bringing to our viewers how there was this major verbal spat that Shafeen Jahan's counsel Dushyant Dave and NIA counsel Maninder Singh today engaged in, so much so that they prompted the three-judge bench to even make this observation as to how this conduct is completely inexorable. So in the course of those submissions, the NIA wanted to tell the Supreme Court as to how there are certain provisions which exist in certain aspects of law where a parent can have rights over a grown child. But clearly, these are subject matters of further scrutiny. But one thing very clearly, the Supreme Court not impressed for now with the entire terror debate surrounding the conversion. The other impediments of the mothers who had emerged recently, like Bindu, the mother of another girl allegedly converted and in Afghanistan, even those pleas of impediment not being considered by the Supreme Court for now, the country's apex court feels that this is a constitutional issue which limits itself to two primary questions that need to be addressed first before any other argument can be entertained, and that is whether a marriage can be annulled in the manner the Kerala High Court annulled this girl's marriage with Shafeen Jahan, and secondly, whether a grown girl can, whether the father of a grown girl can be given custody of the girl in this manner. And in that, what will be crucial is the deposition which Akila/Hadiya gives before the Supreme Court in the foreseeable future.
How difficult or how distant a possibility is that to actually have Hadiya's version of this entire story, because that, like you also mentioned, is going to be critical. How can you completely put that aside, the version of the so-called victim?
Well, absolutely, Afrida. And, you know, this has featured in the debates before the Supreme Court on earlier occasions where even Dushyant Dave, not today, but on an earlier hearing, submitted as to how the girl should be first spoken to by the three-judge bench. And that point in time, we had seen the counsel for the Union of India, Madhvi Diwan, make a representation before the bench that indeed she will be produced before the final hearing. But clearly, given the mood and given the manner in which this case is progressing before the Supreme Court, because it's going to be her father and also the state of Kerala who will be heard. Before long, Afrida, the girl Hadiya/Akila will also be brought to the Supreme Court on orders of the apex court to really understand what she has to say, because her version is going to play a pivotal role in the entire sequence of events going forward.
Right, that verbal spat, of course, taking a lot of attention today between the two counsels. Meenakshi, thanks so much for giving us the latest on what happened in court today.